It's the materials hold for broadcast release Sunday at 6:30 p.m. and then for Monday morning. Right?
If we expect to restore confidence in the American institutions of government, then it's important that those of us who are in positions of public trust act decisively and promptly. And what I proposed is that the Attorney General of the United States be taken out of politics, that any man who has served in a position in a political organization for a successful presidential candidate not be subject to appointment as Attorney General of the United States. In past years, we've seen situations where John Mitchell, Robert Kennedy, J. Howard McGrath under Truman, men who'd handled their campaigns were made Attorney Generals. And it's almost been built into our political system. But if we're going to have even-handed justice, without regard to a man's political affiliation, then we ought to divorce the Justice Department from politics. I've gone farther than just removing the Attorney General from that particular position insofar as a man who's held a political position in a campaign. We've extended the Hatch Act to all of the employees of the Justice Department, including the Attorney General and the Assistant Attorney Generals and the Solicitor General. We've taken these people and put them under the career service concept. I believe this will be a very major step forward in non-politicizing the Justice Department.
Sure, without the fear of rebellion.
No, I would not take the Justice Department out of the executive branch. I really think that's impractical. And the more you study it, and we've had some hearings on a piece of legislation that was proposed in that regard. But rather than taking the Justice Department out of the executive branch, which I think is impractical, I'm working to take politics out of the Justice Department. And I think that's a much better and more practical objective. And that means any man, you see, who had held a statewide political position in a political party or a national political position in a party, or had been holding a position on the campaign staff of a successful presidential candidate, would be precluded from being appointed Attorney General. Because you've had this situation in the past. It goes all the way back to Woodrow Wilson, where he had a man named Palmer who had held a very prominent position in his campaign, who was made Attorney General. Then you had J. Howard McGrath under Truman. You had Robert Kennedy under John Kennedy. And then you had John Mitchell under Richard Nixon, all who had been campaign managers for the successful candidate, made Attorney General of the United States. And I believe that's a process that we ought to turn around. It's becoming ingrained in the political system of our country, and I think it's wrong.
You want to try once more?
No.